Way 31 is a proud sponsor of the Women Honoring Women events. I sat down with one of the 5 honorees, Paulette Risher. Risher is the Chief Programs Officer at Still Serving Veterans in Huntsville, and she's using her 34 years of active and reserve service in the Army to help other veterans successfully transition back into civilian work.
You see Major General, United States Army, retired. You think college, into uniform, into a 6-figure job, and life's great.
But that wasn't Paulette Risher's path. She served 9 years of active duty after college, met her husband Ed along the way, had a daughter, and then her husband developed PTSD. It was undiagnosed then.
He was ill, and much sicker than we knew at the time.
So they got out of the Army. Civilian life was a lot rougher than they pictured.
I worked for an oil company that was going into bankruptcy. I worked for a defense contractor who was going to jail because the owner was a pathological liar. And by the way, I mean that's not colloquial, that's clinical.
She eventually took a job as a typist while also enlisting again to work with the Army Reserve Unit. Risher worked 2 jobs for 20 years. As you can imagine,
just exhausted. You're trying to be a wife, a mother, and then a grandmother. I have sick parents. He has sick parents. My husband's sick.
And she was deployed a few times. The responsibility, 24/7 expectations from work took its toll. She understood. The more money she brought into the household, the more she could support her ailing husband.
And I'd have never been a general if it hadn't been for him. He was willing to take over the home front. He didn't have any ego in this about who was writing the checks or who was bringing the money in.
Ed was diagnosed with cancer in 2009 and died in 2010. To date, Risher's biggest accomplishment is the way their family rallied around him for the last 2 months of his life.
You know, it's not the thing you look back on with pride, but you have to be grateful for that, because that is an honor to walk with somebody during that time.
Risher is motivated more now than ever to help others in a similar situation. She strives to bring more positivity into the world every day while working at Still Serving Veterans.
I'm also able to be a voice for people in transition. So this is the kind of job that enables me to give back.
As a Women Honoring Women Award recipient, she encourages other women to trust in the Lord and know
when you have to push so hard to get something done, where things just aren't falling in place or stuff happens that you don't think it should, it's when you need to take a step back.
And Way 31 is a proud sponsor of the WEDC Foundation's Women Honoring Women event. It's this Thursday, September 20th at the VBC. Money raised from the event will go towards scholarships and educational workshops for college women. To learn more about the organization, go online to waytv.com.